Hi everybody, here with Mark Keohane again. Hey Mark, how are you?
Good, how are you, Kev?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's get straight into it. Rugby, North, South, best teams. Not much in it, eh?
Not much in it. Mini World Cup. World Cup could be over in 3 weeks. When you look at this last month, it's been wonderfully intense games. We look at last weekend, your team Wales, they got the win, 9-6. Could have gone either way. The Boks 23-9 down with 2 minutes to play, down with 10 seconds gone over the 80 minutes. You think, how could they ever win it from here? They did in the 83rd minute. New Zealand win by a point, could have lost with that controversial non-try, 3 minutes to go. You look at the 36-34, you look at the 32-30 in South Africa. The top 5 teams really at the moment, on the day, one can knock over the other. Great for the World Cup. As you said in your Money Man column, not so great for betting.
Yeah, it's a volatile market, but so is the JSE right now. I suppose the thing that I take out of that week is, let me ask you this question before I get into that, is the controversy again. You talked last week about the video referee and the TMO. Again, it shows how much attention was given to that one play. It happened to be a South African, I think. Was it Marius Jonker, is it? Yeah. Who disallowed the try.
Again, they took away the powers of the TMO. So the referee can ask a question. If he's comfortable with the TMO, he'll go with him, but he can overrule him and go with his gut feel. So Garcias awarded the try. Yeah. Marius Jonker said no try. He could have overruled him, as happened with Gardner, who didn't even go up to the TMO, he just wanted to have a quick look. Then you look at Nigel Owens. He went with the Cheslin Colby one, which even though he didn't score, he only didn't score because his head got really decapitated in the movement. It should have been a penalty try and a yellow card for the high tackle. It's still the neck area whether you go in or not. He then ruled...
Yeah, but he was only a foot out. Look, I'm of two opinions there. It definitely was a high tackle, and in the spirit of the law, it should have been a yellow card. I don't think it was a red card, perhaps. But it should have been a penalty try because it did stop him from scoring. And it was a tackle, or a seatbelt tackle as they call it now. I don't know why that wasn't referred. I don't know why. Because I rate Nigel Owens as the best referee in the world, but then again I would, he's Welsh. But I felt that he handled the French crowd very well towards the end of the game and not making a home side decision.
He did, and even when they scored and then it was disallowed on the forward pass and he told them, I am still going back for the penalty. You could just, Bastaru, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him move that fast to the other side of the field. And they pointed to the French bench, and they pointed to Russ, who just started laughing on the side of the field like, oh, it's not going to happen for us. But you got the sense the French knew this was over, and credit to Bongi. I mean, those last 2 line-out throws, spot on, and the way he controlled that maul, it was a fantastic finish. So, you know, we said before the show, the volatile market, the Boks won a test match in Paris that you don't actually know how they should have won on performance.
Well, we're the only team in the world, I think, Trevor scored 2 tries in injury time.
And then at Twickenham, they should have won by 20 and they actually lost it. So they've been a bit unsettled, but there's so much influence from the TMO. But what I had to have a chuckle about was the English media's reaction, Eddie Jones' reaction. After the Owen Farrell thing, he says, we trust in the referees, okay? Yeah. They make the call, and we thought it was a solid tackle. He's never going to go to another referees meeting, he said, after what happened against New Zealand, okay? The English media who said, take it on the chin, referee's call is final, now saying Garcia's a fool, Marius Jonker got it wrong with Courtney Lawes. To Courtney Lawes' credit, he said, I don't know the law, I don't know where I should stand, and if the referee says I was a foot in front, I probably was. And the photos do show that he was a foot in front. And Steve Hansen said he wasn't a foot in front, he was in our halfback's pocket. But his thing was very interesting. He said it was the right decision. The only concern I had was the TMO going to be brave enough to make it?
Of course he was South African.
And was Garcia going to be brave enough to overturn it? And I think he thought that based on the British and Irish Lions tour, when Garcia gave them the last minute penalty to win the series, and Poit said no, it's accidental, scrum, best result for the series. That's how the conversation went between the two.
Well, and again, you talk about a 1-point game that could have gone England's way. That's how much you can throw a blanket over all these teams. It bodes well for a great 2019 World Cup. It is incredibly intense rugby. the physicality of these games is brutish. It's something to be. I mean, I've enjoyed watching every game, and but it's like anybody that said that England was going to lose by 20 points or 15 points or whatever the spread was. I mean, so many people said to me, "I can't believe you're not taking the All Blacks at 15." It's like, or taking. I just don't know. I think this leads well into the end. To end this clip is a betting for this weekend.
But also, so let's go back. We also qualified last week. Twickenham, they said it was going to rain, and how did it rain? The whole match, 80 minutes, and that's a 15-point leveler. Any team who's marginally inferior gets the benefit if it's a poor conditions, inclement weather, and that's always a factor going into the Northern Hemisphere games at this time of the year. Dublin, they say it's not going to be terrible conditions, but you never know. It could rain and that could upset everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an island. So we have for me, the game of the week is Ireland, New Zealand, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the only one that I have any confidence in giving advice on. Is it for Ireland to lose, for New Zealand to beat Ireland by 6 or more points? I think there's a few factors going against Ireland. The one is that they beat New Zealand in Chicago a couple of years back, 3 years back?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, 2 years then. And New Zealand rarely lose to a team. That doesn't happen very often. I think the win percentage is 90%. They very seldom, I think the last team they lost to back-to-back was South Africa?
Yeah.
Under de Villiers?
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah. So for them to lose to Ireland, I just can't see it happening. I think that they're going to get up for this game. I think that Hansen's talked this thing up to be, he's even tried to say that they're the favourites. There's no way that Ireland's favourite for this game. The bookies certainly don't see it that way. They see it that they've got the handicap of -5.5 for New Zealand, +5.5 for Scotland, which for the uneducated out there, if you're going to bet on New Zealand to win 9 to 10, you've got to take them at -5.5 and hope they win by 6. And if you fancy Scotland, if you fancy Ireland to do well, then you take the +5.5 and hope they don't lose by 6 or more.
I also think if you go back to that game, and New Zealand is talking them up so much, how do Ireland deal with the favourites tags? They're talking themselves up. We've beaten them once in 111 years. We don't fear them anymore. I read a wonderful piece where someone wrote that Ireland were one of the great teams in world rugby. When they lost, they took it on the chin. When they won, they were very humble. He said it took them 111 years to beat the All Blacks and they became England. So
don't tell an Irishman that.
Because the week after, 2 weeks after, when New Zealand beat them 21-9 in Dublin, three tries to 1, New Zealand made about 200 tackles. It was that brutal test match. And Ireland say they haven't forgotten that and they're coming for them. So I think discipline is going to be the key in this game. And if New Zealand can maintain their discipline, I think they'll be too good. Ireland's hope would come if New Zealand get reduced to 13 or 14 players because of a red or yellow card.
Well, I think also that Ireland would be hoping for torrential downpour.
Yeah. And the big key, no Conor Murray, and he is without a doubt for me, everyone says Aaron Smith, I think Conor Murray all around the best scrum half in the world, and the Sexton-Murray combination, very influential. I think they lose a lot by that, and I'm with you on that one. I think the All Blacks will win. I think they'll win with a bit more than people think as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking 10 plus, but it's a volatile market, as we said. So for me, that's my pick. I'm going to put 2,000 Rand down to win 3,800 back, that New Zealand will beat Ireland by 6 or more points. And it wouldn't surprise me if the game if it's a blowout, but who knows. Springboks, Scotland. The exact same handicap. The bookies have South Africa favoured by -5.5. And to me, that means that if you're going to back South Africa for basically even money return, you've got to back them to win by 6 or more. Now, Scotland have lost 1 game in 10 at Murrayfield, and that was against New Zealand. I think the score was 22-17, so that's 5 points. South Africa have been a bit inconsistent, even though it's only over 2 games. They lost a game they should have won, they won a game they should have lost. It's a brave man to call South Africa to win 6 or more points at Murrayfield right now. It could go either way, and if there's any value in the bet, it's got to be at 18 to 10 for Scotland for them to win outright. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that that's where the value bet is, in my estimation. But I'm not betting on this game. There's no way I'm touching it. I'll be an enjoyable spectator watching it on the couch and won't have any money involved in the game.
I think people need to respect what Gregor Townsend's done with the Scotland team. They went to Australia, they won. They hammered Australia. I know Australia were down to 14 players. They got 50 points past them. Yeah, they beat Ireland, they beat England, they beat France at Murrayfield. And even though New Zealand was in control of that game, it took a great tackle from Bowden Barrett to not deny Scotland a fantastic come from behind win.
But it's a different Scotland team from 3 years ago.
Different mentality, they're playing good rugger. It must be the 3 South Africans they got in the 23 and the one Stormers lad, Hugh Jones, although he is from Scotland, who's played some great rugger last year. So 4 South Africans in the 23. I think it's good. Hugh Jones, yeah. And, Rassie and Gregor Townsend met 4 times as coaches 2 years ago. I think it was 2-2 in the matchups. A lot of respect between the two of them. Gregor Townsend has said that the Boks scalp is bigger than England. He rates them a top 3 team in the world at the moment. But to South African supporters, I would say, don't be surprised if Scotland boxes a win or comes very close to it. So my bet would go, and you can explain it again to the punter, in terms of an outright Scottish win or within that handicap.
Okay, so what you're saying is you want to take the plus 5.5 points to Scotland,
yeah,
so that they basically start the game at 5.5 on the scoreboard,
yeah,
which means that they can't lose by 6 or more.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're going to bet on that, the value bet to me would be 18 to 10, where you're getting 18 Rand for every 10 that you bet, plus your 10 back. But I'm not touching it, so I'm not advising that bet. And it wouldn't surprise me. The challenge I want to put out to anybody that watches this stuff that we do is, if you're a Bok fan, if you win, celebrate it. If you win on Saturday, don't start with what you would have done differently and how this guy messed up, and just enjoy the game for 24 hours. Challenge yourself to have some Zen-like quality where you can just go and say, we won a game, we won. Because going to Scotland and beating Scotland today, or on Saturday, is an accomplishment. It's not a given. You don't have a God-given right to beat Scotland. It's not something that's it's not on your easy to-do list. You know, you've got a tough battle on Saturday. So if you win, enjoy it. Thanks, Mark.